While playing a randomized playthrough of Pokemon Infinite Fusion, my game bugged out and wouldn't launch. However, after a bit of troubleshooting, I got it all fixed. We'll pick up right where I left off. So now, it's time to make our way towards Lavender Town. Along the way, one trainer had a Suicune and Porygon fusion, which, of course, is another sick Porygon fusion. I also faced a Hoapex. Yeah, this thing looks like it could really use a haircut. Parati has to be Paris something, but I don't know what the other half is right off the top of my head. And a bunch of wild Seachoke, but we don't need that. Inside Rock Cave, I found a random egg just lying on the ground, so we're gonna have to see what that is later on. While inside, I also found a path that led me to this man, who hit me with the classic "it's dangerous to go along," and he gave me a Honedge, which I will certainly be making a fusion with later on. After finally stepping out of the rock cave, I made my way over to the Haunted Tower for our next battle with rival Thod. This time, he had a Starmagius, Frostler, Grotomp, and Laparados, which was easily my favorite fusion of his team. I then took off to Celadon City, where I will secure my 4th gym badge, as well as get the Sylph Scope for the Haunted Tower we were just at. I was planning on beating Erica first before taking on the Rocket Hideout, but I was hit with the scene of our rival fighting off some rocket grunts, and then Erica shows up and told us to follow her into the base. So I guess we're doing that first. Inside here, every encounter is a double battle with the gym leader as our partner. While running around the sewers, our egg hatched into a Noibat. The rocket grunts down here had quite a few unique looking fusions, like these two. Once I figured out the sewer puzzle, I split up with Erica and was finally inside part 2 of this rocket hideout, where the grunts had some fusions like this Clefpuff, and a Lagoo, which has an awesome custom sprite. I quickly slid my way around the tile puzzle, and finally found Giovanni. He led off with a cool looking Rosark, followed by Selixure, which looked kinda cursed. And lastly, a Wigglyfable, which looks exactly like you think it would if you fused them together. After beating Giovanni and getting my Sylph Scope, I headed to the Pokemon Center, where I fused my Noibat and Honedge together. And that created this immaculate looking fusion. I then named it Red Crow, after this commenter. With all that taken care of, I finally went to take on the 4th gym. While inside, V-Gray evolved into Poribro, but I kinda liked him better before. However, that's okay. I may have a way to fix this later. Either way, afterwards, I beat down Erica, who had a fairly mediocre team with no good custom fusions that made her memorable. I quickly picked up Fly, and made my way to the Haunted Tower to rescue Mr. Fuji, where, as a reward, he gave us the Poke Flute, even though he was just chilling there and didn't even need rescuing. But that's fine. I can now make my way towards the 5th gym. So I gemmed out with my Poke Flute and captured the Snorlax that was blocking my path. While looking at all the sprites, I had to choose this hideous creation. Eventually, I ended up in Fuchsia City. Out of curiosity, I had to fuse Porygon and Snorlax together. However, I absolutely loved it. So, meet the new and improved V-Gray fusion. With that settled, I headed straight into the 5th gym. While inside, Red Crow evolved into Noiblade. I faced this monstrous looking fusion called Tanook from one of the trainers inside, who also had a Necrozma fusion on his team. Yeah, this dude was just cracked. However, Koga's team consisted of a Grimer fusion, one called Anorino, a Rat Bell, and a Cleft Plume, which looked the best out of his team, but still looked kinda mid. With the 5th badge secure, it's time to go get Surf. While inside the Safari Zone, I caught a Cradark and Sildon, because the fusions look cool. However, I don't know if I'm gonna use them. Sometime later, I got Surf. With everything I need from this town in hand, I headed over to Saffron City for the 6th badge, and to once again take on Team Rocket. Since the gym was blocked off, I headed straight to Silphco. While inside, I forgot my way around, so instead, I wiped the floor of every grunt I came across, thinking one of them was gonna drop a key card. Also, I came across a new outfit, so I put that on. While looking for all the items I needed, I faced a Mamogia, which is an incredible looking fusion. Plus, so many more that were all great fusions, and I'll briefly show them now, since I am terrible at pronouncing names. Finally, after running around for way too long, I solved the puzzle, and ran into Rival Thud once again. His team this time was Nidodra, Arolix, Frostler, an amazing looking Clefairy, and a Magbish. After this battle, Red Crow evolved into Noiblade. Then me and Rival Thud teamed up to take on Giovanni, who had some pretty sick looking fusions, like Kekvion and Janglosian, as well as some pretty jank mons, like this Squirtaldo. This battle was pretty hectic, since there were so many fusions on the screen at one time. Overall, it was a bit more difficult, but I still managed to squeeze out the W. As a reward, I got a Cyndaquil, which I immediately boxed and was off to secure the 6th badge. Jumping right into it, Sabrina's team consisted of Nape, Glisme, Zekpoke, and a Rybro. That's now 6 badges down. I immediately flew to Pallet Town, got on my surfboard, and headed down to Cinnabar Island to go take on Blaine. However, of course, I first have to head into the Burn Mansion. The very first dude in here was pretty tough, so I figured it was time to do some grinding. After a while, Hot Meat evolved into Zooanite, and Red Crow evolved into Noise Slash, where he now just looks like an axe with wings. So, of course, I had to see what the reverse of that fusion looked like. And yeah, sold. That looks way better. A little while later, Hot Meat evolved into High Knight. And this is what the reverse of that evolution looks like. So, we're just gonna stick with the original. With that, I made my way to the basement of the Burn Mansion and found Blaine. Afterwards, I headed straight to his gym. I got almost every fusion related question wrong, so that allowed me to find out that the trainers inside had some pretty interesting Pokemon. Now, on to Blaine. His team consisted of Magdra, Cacdash, Shieldmander, and Grodash. Overall, pretty solid team, but still nothing I couldn't handle. With that done, I headed straight to Viridian City. That way I could take on the 8th badge, but there was still a dude blocking the gym door. After a while, I found out there's yet again another Team Rocket event to take care of first. To get there, you go to the bottom part of Cinnabar Island, which leads to this fun little seawater puzzle, where you fight against the waves. After figuring that out, I ended up at Mount Ember, where I plowed my way through a handful of grunts, while learning that Team Rocket's here to capture Moltres. That way, they can fuse the 3 legendary birds together. Which is a pretty solid idea, not gonna lie. Either way, we eventually catch up to Giovanni, and he battles us with this new triple fusion. And yeah, it was kinda tough. Mainly due to the fact that this thing can use 3 attacks, while you can only use 1. Even with that being the case, I still took it out, which led to the fusion breaking apart and escaping. So, Team Rocket scattered. For fun, I caught the Moltres, cause I'm hoping to try and get that triple fusion for myself. Of course, as soon as I leave the cave, Rival Thod shows up. However, surprisingly, he didn't want to battle, which is great, cause my team was kinda cooked at this point. Around this time, I realized the map is more than just Kanto, because they included the Sevi Islands as well. So instead of checking all that out, I headed straight for the 8th gym, where I proceeded to bubble beam my way through every trainer, until it was time to face Giovanni again. He led off with Sandy Ligator, which was a real pain to take down for some reason. Out next was Lucire, followed by Ryleap, then a Mantera, and lastly, a Greeble. With that, I was off to face the Elite Four. But of course, right before we get there, Rival Thod shows up one more time. This time with a team consisting of Charpin, Pumpleap, Whimsamander, Vibretic, Frostler, and lastly, a Shroominch. After that, I made my way through quite a few trainers, and moved a ton of boulders around, until I finally reached the Indigo Plateau. I had zero doubts about what laid ahead, and my team was completely ready. It's about to sound like we're doing roll call here in a moment, but bear with me. Up first is Lorelei. She led off with this hideous thing, followed by Rindswine, then Serum, a Glace Buff, and lastly, a Lick Ice. Bruno's team consisted of Hitmonrion, Bastietta, High-Key, Lovezikin, and a Shuploom, which looked pretty cool. Agatha's team was Slyedge, Snubblade, Driftfire, this thing, and lastly, a Gasaur. Lance had Haxbro, Lomtini, Shilregus, Fraxdile, and a Sharpno. And of course, time for our last battle with Rival Thod. He had Azumaduck, Frostlim, Blastring, Aurora Blim, Gormonth, and a Hypni. And with that, me and my team beat everyone in the Elite Four, plus Rival Thod. However, along the way, I've been getting quite a few of these Premium Wonder Trade tickets, and I haven't used any of them. So, before I end this video, I want to use a few of those and see what kind of random fusions we get. The first fusion I received was this. And yeah, it's kinda mid. The next one I got was way better. I like how it just looks like Azumarill is wearing a costume. Third up, I got this thing. And yep, that's kinda ugly. And for the last one, I got a Vibro for a rig. That's hard to say. Either way, I love this design. And I'm glad the last trade was at least good. This concludes my randomized Infinite Fusion playthrough. It was a lot of work to make, but I hope you enjoy how it turned out. Please leave a like and comment your favorite fusion below. And as always, I'll catch you next time.